Hi, I'm Nick Paulson and you're watching News 24 Live. I'm joined in studio by Sergio Davids from the Wheels 24 team to chat about all things motorsport and wheels related. Good morning,
Morning,
Sergio.
Nick.
Thanks for coming in.
Always a pleasure to be here.
So now, topical stories. The big one doing the rounds today, and of course this footage has gone viral, is this horror N2 crash where a Cape actor, a gentleman, 27-year-old Tabang Sihloi from Gugulethu, was killed after a high-speed crash, and he was flung out of the car. Terrible, terrible. And the fact that this was caught on a dash cam.
Yeah. Look, it's an awful incident. I mean, he was one of 4 passengers in a BMW convertible traveling on the N2 outbound. The video you're talking about shows how the BMW moves from the far left, cuts across 2 lanes of traffic, and unfortunately ends up into the barriers. It's pretty graphic stuff. You can actually see Tabang being flung from the car. He's actually lifted out of it. Really tragic thing to have happened, but also highlighting the need to wear seatbelts and not adopt irresponsible driving behavior.
Of course, you say it is very graphic footage. We've actually yet to pull the video, but our viewers can access a link if they want to see it. But more than anything, highlighting the dangers of speeding, particularly with the holiday season approaching.
Yeah, unfortunately, as thousands of South Africans head on our roads, we can expect road deaths and injuries to increase, unfortunately. This crash in particular shows how, one of those tenets of road safety comes into play here. Speed might not necessarily kill, but irresponsible driving definitely will. It's clear to the viewer that the BMW was speeding. He or she clips a Picanto, causing him to spin off and hit the barriers. Had he not been speeding, had he been adopting responsible driving, looking out, indicating, etc., this might not have happened. And it's really tragic that he the accident claimed the life of one of our actors.
And of course, not wearing a seatbelt is also the important thing to note. Let me just read out some of the social media reaction. Viewers, some sympathizing, some not. There's this gentleman, IZ7, on Twitter who says, "What do you think will happen to you if you aren't wearing a seatbelt? Stupidity is infinite." So yeah, that's a very sort of unforgiving statement, but there's a lot like that on social media. Then Rob Byrne at Traffic SA, "Holiday road safety, a timely reminder to slow down." So again, just making people aware of the dangers of speeding. And then on Facebook, Lester Kivitt, who of course works for ENCA, he posted a link to the video and says, "The family of this young man has asked the media to show this video as a lesson to why you should wear a seatbelt and not speed." So yeah.
Yeah, look, I applaud the family, despite the fact that they're dealing with a tragedy like this, for trying to save the lives of others. It's hammered home time after time. We've seen these PSAs come out to say, wear your seatbelt, but it's still staggering how many people don't do this. It's such a basic safety tenet, and yet we don't do this. And when the inevitable happens, i.e. a crash, we see horrifying results. So perhaps if even just one other person is saved, wears their seatbelt over this holiday period and is saved, then at least there's some sort of justice to what happened here.
So do you agree with, I guess, broadcasting's kind of footage? Obviously, this day and age, every person can kind of be, a reporter and post footage, make it go viral. But then a lot of campaigns, road safety campaigns, have sort of used that as a shock tactic to sort of, give people a bit of a wake-up call.
Look, as we've seen from the Western Cape in particular over the last 2 months, October and November specifically, where they've highlighted sort of shock tactics by showing graphic crash footage.
And the thing is, recently with pedestrian deaths, there was that whole campaign.
Exactly. The fact is, you can't hide from this. This happens. SA has a horrific road death rate, and indeed pedestrians also being killed from our roads. And the fact that more and more people are starting to equip their vehicles with dash cams, we're going to see more and more of these videos locally. On YouTube, you might have seen a lot of Russian videos, for instance. It's fine to laugh at what's happening in other countries, but when it hits home, suddenly it becomes all too real. The fact is, we can't hide from this. It's happening. Case in point with Tabang. This happened on a straight, of all places, on the N2. I think that to shirk away from it, to try and put our heads in the sand and say, oh, well, it will never happen to me, is irresponsible. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah, and of course, like you say, our road death stats are
very
worrying.
horrendous.
I mean, recently there was another taxi incident with 10 fatalities.
Indeed.
You know, going by numbers, I mean, I know it's this road agency's target every year over the festive period to, you know, have fewer and fewer deaths. I mean, do you think that they're winning that battle? I mean, this festive season, do you think we might see fewer fatalities?
Look, unfortunately, it's a numbers game. There's high volumes of traffic, people are drunk driving, and there's high volumes of pedestrians also being responsible on our roads. So unfortunately, deaths are inevitable. How we can curb this is by being responsible on our road. It's up to everybody else to be responsible. It's not a case of just relying solely on police to try and clamp down on this. It comes down to people just simply wearing seat belts, perhaps telling other people to buckle up as well, pointing out irresponsible road behavior and then reporting it. Comes down to your own responsibility on the road.